Welcome back to 11th Glitch. They say the quickest way to a person's heart is through their stomach, though usually that doesn't involve losing your soul in the process. We've all felt that primal tug of hunger, the kind that makes your mind wander to your favorite comfort food when you should be sleeping. But what happens when that hunger stops being yours? What if the food starts eating you from the inside out? Today's story is a haunting reminder that not everything that feeds the body is good for the spirit. This story was collected by Susie from her friend Yusuf. No more details. Let's dive into the story. The town was the kind of place where everyone knew everyone's business. Yet some things were still spoken of only in hushed tones. The center of these whispers was a small, dilapidated storefront known as Uncle's Haleem Biryani. It sat squeezed between a tailor and a modern cafe, a grimy relic with soot-blackened walls and a floor that always felt a little too slick under your shoes. From a business perspective, it made no sense. I mean, who picks the dirty stall over the shiny new cafe? Yet, the neighboring shops were ghosts, while Uncle's was a constant buzzing swarm. From the first light of dawn until the street lamps flickered at midnight, there was a line. Rich, poor, young, and old, all waiting with a desperate, frantic energy for a single plate of rice and meat. But it wasn't a normal line. There was a heaviness in the air around that shop, a spiritual glitch that you could feel in your teeth. People didn't just eat, they surrendered. I watched from across the street for months, and the behavior I saw was chilling. Customers would sit at those grease-stained tables, and the moment the food touched their lips, their posture changed. They'd hunch over their plates, their eyes turning a dull, feverish red. It wasn't just appetite, it was a high. I saw grown men, respected pillars of the community, growling at anyone who walked too close to their table. I saw people fighting over a single bone, their faces contorted into masks of animalistic greed. The rumors were that Uncle practiced a form of culinary wizardry, a dark seasoning that didn't just flavor the food, but tethered the soul. The most terrifying thing was the homeless man. He was a regular fixture in the town, a gentle soul. One day, he managed to scrape together enough coins for a full meal. Yusuf told me he watched him take the first bite. The transformation was instant. The man started reacting as if he were being possessed. He began shouting in a guttural, terrifying voice, his mouth foaming with saliva as he growled like a wild bear protecting a kill. His eyes were wide, bloodshot, and darting around as if he were seeing things we couldn't. The workers just dragged him out by his collar and threw him into the dirt like he was nothing. A few days later, that man went missing. No one ever saw him again, but the smell of that biryani, it started to feel like it was following the rest of us home. If you like these type of stories and want to keep exploring the darker side of our world, please do show your support to us by clicking the subscribe button and the bell icon for further updates. Your energy helps us shine a light into the glitches that surround us every day. I thought I was stronger than the rumors, Yusuf told me, leaning in close. But you have to understand, it starts with the smell. It's not just aromatic, it's intrusive. It began to haunt me. I'd wake up in the middle of the night, 3 a.m., the devil's hour, and my entire room would smell like that heavy ghee and slow-cooked meat. It was as if the shop had moved into my house. And then, the voices started. It wasn't a loud shout. It was a raspy, creepy whisper coming from the shadows of my corner, from the cracks in the floorboards. Hungry? Come eat the Laziz biryani you crave. It sounded like dry skin rubbing together. I finally gave in. I went for dinner on a Tuesday night. The air inside the shop was thick, wet, and smelled of something metallic, like blood and rusted iron hidden under the spices. As I waited, my eyes drifted to the kitchen door. It was slightly ajar. I saw a pile of chopped meat sitting on a silver tray. Now, these meats were all prepared yesterday as always, as they do the marination the night before. It should have been cold and lifeless. But as I stared, the meat began to move. It was pulsing. It was twitching rhythmically, as if the muscle fibers were trying to find each other, trying to become whole again. I felt a wave of pure spiritual dread, but then my plate was set down. The aroma was so powerful, it felt like a physical hand reaching into my mind and turning off my logic. I started eating, and everything else vanished. With the first spoonful, I felt a violent dizziness, like the floor had dropped out from under me. I didn't care. A horrific, bottomless hunger took over my soul, a void that demanded to be filled. I felt furious, my hands shaking as I shoveled the meat into my mouth. I felt an urge to leap across the table and snatch the food from the man sitting next to me. I don't remember leaving. I woke up in my own bed the next morning, but I felt empty, like something had crawled inside me and eaten my peace. The tension in the town finally snapped. A week later, a mob of locals, driven by a mixture of withdrawal and righteous fury, descended on the shop. It was a massive brawl. People were screaming about the bloody imposter. During the chaos, as they tore the wooden facade down, I saw the chef, the uncle. He didn't look like a master. He looked like a terrified animal. He was sweating profusely, his eyes spinning in his head with a look of abject, confusing terror. He ran toward a small back room in the kitchen, a dead end with no windows, no vents, and no gate. When the crowd burst through that door seconds later, the room was empty. He had vanished, but as the dust settled, I saw it. On the back wall, there was a human-shaped figure made of thick, black smog. It didn't move. It just clung to the stone for a heartbeat before dissolving into a deep, jagged crack that had appeared in the kitchen wall. That crack wasn't there previously. It was a wound in reality itself, pulsing with the same rhythm I'd seen in the meat. The shop is gone now, but the crack in the ruins remains. It serves as a reminder that we are more than just bodies to be fed. We are spiritual beings, and when we let our earthly cravings become aggressive and addictive, we open the door to things that do not wish us well. Yusuf still smells that biryani sometimes, a ghostly scent in the middle of the night, but he never follows it. He knows now that some fires are stoked with more than just coal. Be careful what you crave, and even more careful about who is feeding you. Until next time, stay safe in the glitch.